All right, next thing we're going to talk about Roman numerals. Now, Roman numerals are exactly what they sound like. They're Roman numerals. You probably already know what Roman numerals are. The reason we're talking about Roman numerals is because we use them in music theory to notate the name or the type and quality of the chord that we're looking at. For example, I've taken our same chord progression here, and I've taken the inversions off just to make this simple for a minute. We'll do it again with the inversions on. But we now have these chords in root position again, right? So it's C major, G major, F major, and then C major, right? Bunch of major chords. Here's how we would use Roman numerals. Here we're going to use, for this first chord, we're going to put a big Roman numeral 1 because that's going to tell us this is the 1 chord, we would call it, right? So it's the 1 chord. We use a Roman numeral 1 to signify that. And a weird thing, you may have never come across lowercase Roman numerals. It's rare in the wild that you see them, but we use them in music theory. Now here we're going to use a capital Roman numeral. We use capital Roman numerals for major chords and lowercase Roman numerals for minor chords. So that shows us, so by using a Roman numeral, it tells us the scale degree of the chord. So is it built on the first scale of the key, the second scale degree of the key, etc. And it also tells us if it's major or minor by is it capital. These are all major chords. So what we're going to see here is a capital 1 because this is the 1 chord. This is the 5 chord because it's built on the 5th scale degree of G and it's major. So this is a 5 chord. This one is a 4 chord because it's built on the 4th scale degree and it is also major. And this is again going to be a 1 chord. Okay? Let's add some minor chords in here. Let's change this one to a minor chord. I just have to go... Let's keep it in root position for now. Oops, whoa, what did I do there? Okay. Now we have a what? This is a chord built on A is the root because it's in root position. And if we counted from C up to A, we would end up at, think about it, say the answer out loud. I hope you said 6. This is the 6th scale degree. So what we're going to put here is a Roman numeral 6, but a lowercase, because this is a minor chord. And we know it's a minor chord because if we do our diatonic chord progression pattern of major, minor, minor, major, major, minor is the 6th one, that gives us a minor chord. Okay? So let's go back to looking at the whole diatonic chord progression sequence, shall we? There we have it. Okay, so here's our diatonic chord progression in the key of C major, right? We've seen this before. We know that the root of all these chords, we know exactly what it is because we're in root position. So it's going to be the bottom note. So this is a chord built on C, this is a chord built on D, etc. We also know already, just by looking at this, what the quality of the chord is. This is going to be a major chord because it's the first one in our pattern. This is a minor chord, another minor chord, a major chord, a major chord, a minor chord, a diminished chord, and then another major chord. Okay? So we know the root of all these chords and we know the quality of all these chords. Now, let's use Roman numerals on all of these. So this first one, we're going to get the Roman numeral 1. It's going to be capital because it's major. Second one, we're going to use Roman numeral 2 and it's going to be lowercase because it's minor. Third one, this is Roman numeral 3, and it's going to be lowercase because it's minor. Major, F major, is going to be 4 in the key of C major. So that's going to be a capital 4. This is going to be a capital 5 because G major is the 5 in the key of C major. This is going to be a 6 and it's going to be lowercase because A minor is the 6th chord in the key of C major. And this one is, remember, this is our weird one. This is a 7 chord. This is the 7th chord in the key of C major, built on B, so it's the 7th. And remember, this is a diminished chord, and I said it before that it was kind of like a super major chord, a super minor chord. So what we're going to use for this is we're going to use lowercase 7, Roman numeral 7, and then we're going to put this little subscript circle after it. That little symbol means diminished. So this means diminished 7 chord, 7th chord diminished is what we see there. And then when we get up to the top here, we're going to use Roman numeral 1. We never use Roman numeral 8. 7 is the highest Roman numeral we ever use. Okay? So we're never going to use Roman numeral 8. Always 1. So this is a 1 chord again. Oops. Because it's a C major and we're in the key of C major. Now, important thing to note here, let's take this F for example. This is an F major chord, right? So it's going to be Roman numeral 4. But only in the key of C major, right? If we were in a different key, these numbers line up a little bit differently. Let's do this. I'm going to delete some chords here, and I'm going to put us in the key of F major. Okay? The rest of this works. So let's finish this out. So I'm going to do a diatonic chord progression in the key of F. So F, G, A, B, I'll put the key signature on it in a second, C, D, E, and then F again. Goes quite high now. Okay, and instead of doing a key signature, let's just manually put it on here. So the key signature for F, remember that was one of our exceptions. That's the one that has 1 flat, and it's a B flat. So let's just, oops. So I got to turn all B's flat. Oops. There we go. Right, there's that one. There's another one. There we go. That's it. Okay, so now all my B's are flat. Okay, now let's put Roman numerals on this. So now F is now going to, it was 4 before in the key of C major, right? But we're in the key of F now. So an F major chord is a 1, right? Because now we're in the key of F. So now everything changes. So now this is F major. So this gets a 1, capital 1. And now this is a G minor chord because it's the second one. So remember the pattern, major, minor, minor. So this is a G minor, so that gets a Roman numeral 2. This is an A minor. Now we saw A minor in the key of C major, and it was a minor, it was the 6th chord, but now it's the 3rd chord. It's still minor though. Here we have a B flat major chord. That didn't happen before. We didn't see that in the key of C because it has this on it. And none of those are in the key of C. So B flat is going to be the 4th. And so it's going to get a major 4. C is going to be the 5th. Remember, that was 1 before, and now it's 5 because we're in a totally different key, etc. I think you get the point. So the point is, Roman numerals are related to the key. They only tell us the function of the chord as it relates to the key. Okay? So you can't just say the F chord is a 4 chord as a universal truth. That is not true. That is only true in the key of C major. The F chord is a 1 chord in the key of F. So as we get more advanced into music theory, we'll see how this Roman numeral stuff gets kind of wacky. We start doing some really wild stuff with Roman numerals after a while. But for now, let's keep it simple. Now that we know how Roman numerals work, let's jump over to our C major cadence song and do a true technical analysis of it using Roman numerals. Cool? This is going to be our first real analysis. This is like what my students would hand in as like their first big analysis. So let's try it.